All right, so in response to your first question of your second set of questions, I think what I found was most interesting the biotechnology, specifically because last semester I took a bioinformatics course, just working with we worked with Python programming language, and we basically worked with DNA and how tech computers and technology can help us as they advance and stuff, help us not only uh, be able to like quantify our DNA into like data that we can use and we can look at in order to narrow down searches for like mistakes in DNA code for like things such as maybe some coding has a higher influence of like say making cancer or maybe related to like autism and things like that. There's certain strings that are recognizable where uh, there are certain like immunal diseases, like immune system type diseases, where your DNA is just coded incorrectly that it can create problems, and then hopefully in the future be able to potentially go in, not only be able to recognize better different diseases and stuff that maybe you're vulnerable. Like a big one was like breast cancer, since breast cancer is highly um, not transmittable, but it can be passed down. It's one of those things that we can look out for, and then not only that, but hope maybe go in and potentially make changes and make fixes. For example, we discussed there was a child who had an immune system disease or disorder where basically his skin was pretty much paper, just like kind of fell off his body. You'd touch him and then his skin would fall off, and they were actually able to they recognized the problem. There was a code in his DNA where the code that basically told his epidermal and his epidermis and like the dermal layer of the skin like to connect basically wasn't making those like connections. There's certain cells, cell joints that like along that line, that layer of your skin that would hold strong that his was not. So they actually stripped him of his whole skin and they were able to replace it with skin that had the proper DNA sequencing, and it actually held. And he was able to. I mean, he lives a pretty normal life now with pretty much minimal scarring, and I mean, they just had to redo the whole thing. So it's pretty interesting what they'd be able to do with that as far as medicine and technology in the future.